Alright everyone, working on the Mercury 9 here. These are slow RGB flashers. And my problem is they are not syncing. I need 3 that blink at the same rate. And if you notice, I got pink, yellow, white. Now that's turned pink. Red, yellow, blue, white, yellow, yellow, white. They're all different colors, and I don't think you guys can see that real well right now. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit and you pick up the different colors a little bit better. No, it just looks like a birthday cake right now because the camera isn't picking it up and there's too many of them too close together. But yeah, they are all different colors right now, and I got to pick out 3 that are synced. So I should just go pull the ones I know that are a certain color combination at one time and set them aside. I'll be back once I find 3 of them that do the same color pattern. Later. It's brighter than normal. I'm not going to worry about it. Camera's a different position. It's lower than normal. Anyhow, we're here talking about Mercury 9. Now, before I can do anything with lighting, I have to figure out the power supply. I have to know what voltage, because the voltage determines the resistors on the LEDs. Okay? And I went to Walmart looking for a power supply, and that was a mistake, and I'm about to explain why. When you go to Walmart and you look for a wall wart, what you find is one of these. Now, universal AC adapter. 4 times the power of a 300 milliamp adapter. That's what it says there. 4 times the power of a 300 milliamp adapter. Okay? And it comes with 7 popular plugs and all sorts of stuff. It makes it sound real good. You pull this thing out, you start looking at it. Now, all of these power supplies list on the back what they are. So I'm getting my glasses out so I can read it, because the print's sometimes really tiny. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about here with one of my famous zoom ins that won't focus. There you go. Now, I'm going to pull the camera back out and I'm going to read this to you. Okay, it says input 100 to 120 volt AC, 50 to 60 hertz, 0.454 amp max. Output, various different voltages. It says 1300 milliamps. Pretty good. Okay. Now this was $20 for 1300 milliamps. Okay. Now 1300 milliamps is 1.3 amps. It's a pretty good amount of power. 1.3 amps. Okay, 1300 milliamps. Assuming you're using the typical 20 milliamp LED, will give you 260 LEDs. This will light 260 LEDs. So right now it doesn't sound like a mistake. You know, $20, I've got plenty of power. It's got an adjustable voltage, so I can adjust the voltage to what I want. Okay, runner at 9 volts, that's great. Here's why I said that's a mistake. I misread that at first. I thought it said 480 milliamps, which would be 24 LEDs, and that's no good for my purposes. Okay, so I started looking around. I went to a pawn shop, didn't find anything. The pawn shop told me they just don't keep these things, they throw them away. And then I remembered reading a post from one of my subscribers, and I can't tell you who it was because it was a long time ago. They said go to Goodwill. So I went to Goodwill. Alright, 99 cents each. I got a whole bunch of these things. Okay? And let's start reading them. This one, I bought 5 of them. This one says 6 volts, 100 milliamps. Now that's only 5 LEDs at 6 volts. But if I'm doing something like a Battlestar Galactica Viper, this is perfect. I can light up that Viper without batteries. 6 volts, easy to resistor. It'll actually power a 4060 timer chip. That's great. The 4060 timer chip takes about as much power as an LED, so I can get 5 LEDs off this in a 4060 timer. Like I said, that will do something like a Battlestar Galactica Viper or a Star Wars Y-Wing or X-Wing. This will power something small like that. Won't power a big starship or a diorama, but you know, that's pretty good. It was 99 cents compared to $18 for that one. Okay. And then I got this one. And pardon me, because they rubber banded it up really good. This one is 7 volts, 800 milliamps. That's 40 LEDs. 7 volts. Okay. That's not bad. 40 LEDs, 7 volts. It's better than that one. This is for something like a Star Destroyer, the old AMT Erdl Star Destroyer. This might actually power that Millennium Falcon I've been building. And the Millennium Falcon's going to have to be 12 volts. This won't work. This will definitely work on the Millennium Falcon. Okay? But 99 cents versus $18. The problem with Goodwill is you just don't know what they're going to have. It's kind of grab baggish. Here's another one. 6 volts, 240 milliamps. There's 12 LEDs out of that. Can't complain about that. Okay. We got another one here, 14.5 volts. Okay. No load. Alright. It then says may be used with 9 volts, 500 milliamps. So I'm going to have to put this one on a voltmeter to find out exactly what it's doing, because it's giving me 2 different readings on it. Alright? It's saying output 14.5, no load, 4.5 VA, and it says DC 9 volt, 500 milliamps. So I don't know what this one's doing. So she is going to go on a voltmeter to find out. But again, they're 99 cents. If it's doing 9 volts, 500 milliamps, divide that by 20, that's 25 LEDs at 9 volts. That's respectable. And again, I paid 99 cents for all these. I'm going to go ahead and use this one for the diorama, so I have plenty of power. Okay? But I could have gotten away with one of these I got at Goodwill. Here's a third one I got at Goodwill. This is definitely a phone charger, you can tell. Alright? It's 5 volts, 550 milliamps. Okay? So this is 25 LEDs too at 5 volts. And that'll power a 4060 timer. But even better, it's got a USB output on it. So, you know, I could just charge my phone with this if I felt like it. So you just got to make sure your phone takes the 5 volts. Easy, there's the trick. But if you got a USB port on your phone, this will work. So I just wanted to go over that real quick. If you need a power supply, Goodwill's a good place to look. Pawn shops, I've heard pawn shops carry them. The one I went to didn't, but that doesn't mean others won't. Some others will, but at 99 cents each, they may not. Alright? And I did have this one in my power supply stash. This is the one I was thinking about using. What is it rated at? I just wasn't happy with the output on them. This one's 12 volt, 500 milliamps, so this will do 25 LEDs at 12 volts. This is probably going to be my Millennium Falcon power supply, to be honest with you. Depends on what the load is on those LED light strips. Well, there you go. There's all my different power supplies and where to get them. Walmart, 20 bucks. You got 1.3 amps. But the rest of them, 99 cents at Goodwill. Don't forget Goodwill. Not only that, is that supporting charity. It supports Walmart. That's not charity. So, just think about these things when you go to buy these things. I'm going to get working on the Mercury 9. It needs to get done. And I haven't done a whole lot. Let me show you what I have done, if I can find the parts in the box. Cut out these windows. Now, one problem with cutting these windows out, and you'll see it if I zoom in, and I'm not real happy with the windows right now. I had Nellie look at it. She's got pretty sharp eyes for details. She says they're all fairly square and lined up and horizontal. I don't see it that way. She says they are. And that's the hard part with windows like this, is getting them square. Perfectly square. Okay? Because a normal eye is going to spot that. And another problem, this ABS plastic is, alright, this ABS plastic isn't like styrene. It doesn't hold an edge as well, and it frays and cracks, whereas styrene will just smooth over pretty easily, and this doesn't. So you have to work this a little harder to get it to work out smooth. Alright, so keep that in mind if you buy this kit. Let me show you the other set of windows I've cut out. Alright, and you'll be able to see some problems with this real quick. The main windows across the top, they're just a little rough on the edges. A little bit of sanding is going to fix the roughness along the bottom here. I like how those came out. I like how I kept those posts. These windows here, these top three are pretty uniform. They're square. These bottom three are not. Okay, so I'm going to make them a little bit bigger, and well, I got a trick in store, and I'll show you guys that in a few minutes. Well, next video or two. Just want to show you what's going on here. I'll be back to this later. Alright, yeah, let's get a real big extreme close-up of my eye. It's all bloodshot shot from allergies. Just kidding. Ooh, there's better. Alright, everyone. I'll be back in a little while. I'm going to get working on this because I got a lot of work to do, and I got some part reviews to give you and stuff like that. Talk to you later. Working on the Mercury 9. I think the last video all of you saw was a big long line of RGB flashers going on and off, and I couldn't get any of them to sync with each other. I gave up on that. Started thinking about the 4060 timer chip because it was sitting on there, and I decided to try a different kind of circuit with it. Okay? Well, not a different kind. I've done this before. This is not anything new. Let me get some power to the board. Okay? I've also settled on a voltage I'm going to use. I'm going to use 9 volts because I did video of the power supplies, so you know what I'm using for a power supply. And I settled on 9 volts for this thing. Let's see if I have everything hooked up right. If I don't, it's going to die. There we go. It is working right. Okay, so let me put the camera down where you can see what's going on here. You can see the green flashing. The green and the blue are not going to be used in the circuit. They're just there. What's going to be used... shoddy camera work. Shoddy camera work. Is the yellows. Okay? I'm going to use the yellows, and in the center of them, I'm going to put a steady red LED. Okay? So I'm going to get kind of that effect. I shorted everything. I'm going to get kind of that effect right there with a red in the center holding steady. And there's going to be a lens over it, so it'll look different than this. Alright? Now, I'm going to have to use 3 4060s just for this effect because there's 3 engines on the side of the ship. Okay? Let's back this up some. We can get some light back up here so we can see people instead of electronics. Alright, now, what I mean by there's 3 engines is there's 3 sets of these guys. Okay? And every single one of these has a nice clear cone that goes at the top up here. I don't have it lined up right. It really does line up nicely, and it's got a whole bunch of really nice locator pins on it. The engineering's not too bad on this kit. There we go. Now she's lined up properly. Anyhow, there's a clear lens that goes over this. And this will fit in there just beautifully with the red center and the yellow spinning on the ends. Alright? I went to go look at my perf board, and I didn't want to cut out a whole bunch of perf board for this. I've done it before. Cutting perf board is just kind of a pain. It's not hard. Then I found this in my stash, brown PCB kit. And one of them, the smallest one, is this size right here. Okay? Yeah, I'm test fitting some LEDs on it. The LEDs I want to use for my engine. And it so happens that when you take your fin and open it, there's this little ledge in there. Now, I don't know what that ledge is for. It's not for a model part. I don't know why they molded it in there, except for that's an indent on here. And it was convenient for them. It's an indent on the outside. It was convenient for them. But the happy thought is, this part Fits right on that ledge perfectly. Almost like they molded this kit for it. So I have a ledge to glue this in there with. And then with the clear lens up here and light block the whole side, you're going to see a nice display at the tip of every engine. It's going to look good. Alright? So that's the plan right now. What I need to do is get busy and start soldering LEDs together. I'm going to do one or two of them and I'll film the last one so you guys can see how I'm arranging my circuit on that. I just don't, one or two of them means the filming will go smooth. The first one or two may go bad and you'll hear lots of little things that you don't like to hear when there's family around. Okay? We don't want to have any of that right now. You know? So, I'm going to get busy. I'm going to get the soldering iron out. I'm going to get some heat shrink out. And I'm going to start arranging this. I've got 3 of these round PVC boards. Okay? So I got 3 of these little guys. It'll cut my work time down. It'll save me about an hour since I don't have to cut those out. And once that's soldered up, I'll hook her up to my prototype board over here. So you can see how she looks with the red one glowing and the yellow ones going on each side of her. Alright, so I'll be back in a little bit. Let me get busy. Hello everyone. I haven't done a whole lot, but I got that yellow LED soldered onto the first disc. It took a few minutes to figure that one out. So here, let me show you what this looks like. I got her on the 4060 running the way I want her. And let's do a zoom in so you can see it. So you can see the yellow disc up there. Okay, that's doing what I want. What I'm going to do is have a steady red in the center. Okay, now I don't have a tube big enough to show you what that will look like laying around here. I can try it with actual parts themselves, but the parts themselves are a little, the wiring on this isn't ready to go in the parts. Yeah, wiring on this isn't ready to go in the parts. Okay, let me raise the camera up a little bit. You can see though that out the top of that it's going to give me an interesting pattern of light. And that's what I'm looking for. So there we go. There's an intermediate step. I have to wire up 2 more of these and I have to get the wiring straight on them. Once I get that straight, then I have to get the red LED soldered in the center, and I got to make the circuit board for the 3 4060s. And here's the fun part. I can change the speed on it. And I have to figure out what speed I want that flashing at. Then set a resistor for that value. Do I want it menacing pulsing? Or do I want it slowly like it's at idle? Since she's going to be sitting on the ground, I think I'm going to do it slowly like she's at idle. Instead of like that. So fast you can't tell what's going on. Let me see if I can tilt that more towards the camera. So you can kind of see the effect I'm looking for. Okay. And I probably ought to pull these red, blue, and green ones off there that are blinking everywhere too, because they're a little distracting on it. But now, that does more what I'm trying. Alright, so you guys have the idea of what I'm looking for on this. And again, a red one in the center, in a very enclosed tube, on a clear plastic screen. Like that. Now you're starting to see what I'm going for here. With the red holding steady in the center, it's going to look good. Alright, that's it for now. Again, I got to make 2 more of these, and I got to make 3 circuit boards. All small enough to fit in those parts I showed you a second ago. I'll be back when I get some of that done.